Imagine you're walking through a science museum, and there's a small vial behind glass. It's not glowing, it's not smoking, it doesn't even look particularly special. But if you were to touch it, just one finger, you might die. Not instantly, not dramatically, but slowly, painfully, and with zero chance of survival. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi horror movie, right? But this is very real. Welcome to the terrifying world of materials that look harmless but are secretly some of the most dangerous substances known to science. And today, we're diving headfirst into 5 of them, the ones that, unbelievably, you can actually touch, though you definitely wish you hadn't. Let's kick things off with something that sounds like it belongs in a spy thriller. Polonium-210. It's nearly invisible, it's odorless, and it doesn't need to explode to kill you. Just a few billionths of a gram, yes, billionths, is enough to be fatal. You could technically hold it in a sealed container and not feel a thing. But if any of it enters your bloodstream, that's game over. Polonium-210 was made infamous in 2006 when former Russian spy Alexander Litvinenko died in London. His tea had been laced with the substance, and over the next few weeks, he wasted away while doctors struggled to figure out what was happening. When they finally traced it back to polonium-210, they were stunned. This was a material 250,000 times more toxic than hydrogen cyanide. You'd need a lab, a nuclear reactor, or a high-end physics facility to get your hands on it. But theoretically, you could touch it. It wouldn't burn your skin. It wouldn't feel hot. In fact, it might not feel like anything at all. And that's what makes it so terrifying. Its alpha radiation can't penetrate skin, but once inside you, it bombards your organs with relentless, cellular damage. The ultimate silent killer. Not explosive. Not reactive. Just deadly. Now, let's get weirder. Say hello to chlorine trifluoride. It sounds like something from your high school chemistry class, but this greenish-yellow gas is a nightmare even the military didn't want to mess with. Back in the 1930s, Nazi scientists tried to weaponize it. They quickly realized they couldn't even transport the stuff safely, because it reacts with nearly everything. It ignites on contact with clothing, paper, wood, rubber, hell, it can set asbestos on fire. You know, the fireproof material? Yeah. Not fireproof enough. Now here's the twist. Chlorine trifluoride is a liquid at room temperature, and you technically could touch it. For a fraction of a second. But if you did, your skin wouldn't just burn, it would be oxidized instantly. Imagine your hand turning into a steaming pile of chemical sludge before you even register the pain. There's a chilling story of a spill in a storage facility, where the liquid ate through concrete and melted into the steel rebar below. The floor was vaporized. Vaporized. The only reason we even handle this stuff today is in rocket fuel production or specialized semiconductor processes, and even then, it's under insane levels of containment. Want to feel more uncomfortable? It gets worse. Let's talk about dimethylmercury. It's colorless, it's odorless, and it moves like water. In a vial, it looks harmless. Like you could dip your finger in it and walk away. And tragically, that's almost exactly what happened in 1996 to a respected chemist named Dr. Karen Wetterhahn at Dartmouth College. Dr. Wetterhahn was studying heavy metals when she accidentally spilled just a few drops of dimethylmercury on her gloved hand. She followed every safety protocol. But months later, she began showing symptoms of mercury poisoning. Her speech slurred. Her vision blurred. She was falling over. By the time doctors realized what had happened, it was too late. She died less than a year after the exposure. The kicker? The compound had seeped through her latex gloves in just 15 seconds. No burning. No tingling. Nothing. It traveled through her skin, into her bloodstream, and began destroying her nervous system one cell at a time. And here's the haunting part: by the time symptoms appear, it's already too late. The mercury binds irreversibly to neural tissue. There's no cure. No antidote. Dimethylmercury taught scientists one brutal lesson: even touching a deadly material for a second can be fatal, especially when you don't know it yet. Alright. We've covered radioactivity. We've covered chemical fire. We've covered neurotoxicity. So how about a material that can explode just by existing? Meet Azidoazide Azide. Sounds like a tongue twister, but it's one of the most explosively unstable compounds ever created. Scientists call it the most sensitive compound in the world. It reacts to shock, friction, heat, light, static electricity. Even thinking about touching it might make it go boom. And yet, it exists. In laboratories. Under intense security. Here's the catch: you technically can touch it. Not that you should. Because moving it, even at the molecular level, can cause a chain reaction. There's no spark required. No match, no flame. Just touch it wrong, and kaboom! It detonates with a force strong enough to shatter lab equipment and cause serious injury. Now, scientists only make this stuff in microscopic amounts. We're talking nanograms. Because any more, and the risk becomes too great. But the fact that something this unstable can even exist, let alone be touched, is straight up terrifying. One wrong move, and you're a red mist in a white lab coat. And that brings us to our final, most shocking entry. The mineral that kills slowly, quietly, and invisibly. Crocidolite, also known as blue asbestos. This fibrous mineral was once hailed as a miracle. Lightweight, fireproof, and cheap, it was used in buildings, ships, even household items. You could pick it up. Rub it between your fingers. No danger, right? Wrong. Deadly wrong. Crocidolite isn't dangerous because it's explosive or radioactive. It's dangerous because when disturbed, its tiny fibers become airborne. They're thinner than a human hair and can stay suspended for hours. And if you breathe them in, they lodge in your lungs. For decades. They don't dissolve. They don't leave. Instead, they slowly scar your lung tissue, causing a rare and aggressive cancer called mesothelioma. And here's the horrifying part: symptoms can take 30 to 50 years to appear. Imagine being exposed in your 20s and only finding out when you're 70. That's the curse of crocidolite. It's not immediate, and it's not flashy, but it's arguably the most insidious of them all. There are whole towns, like Wittenoom in Australia, abandoned because of it. Residents lived, worked, and played around this mineral. Decades later, they started dying. And today, the site is off limits. Too dangerous. Too toxic. But the mineral is still there. And you could still touch it, if you're ever unlucky enough to be near it. So, let's recap. We have a radioactive assassin that kills from the inside out. A chemical that ignites the moment it touches anything. A liquid that can seep through gloves and end your life in silence. A compound so unstable it might explode if you blink at it. And a mineral that waits decades to kill you long after the damage is done. None of these look dangerous. None scream out with warning signs. And all of them? You can touch. But should you? Absolutely not. Because the real danger isn't always in the obvious. Sometimes, the deadliest things are the ones that look just like everything else. A vial on a shelf. A powder on a table. A liquid in a beaker. And that's the most terrifying lesson of all. The world is full of hidden killers. Not monsters. Not murderers. But materials. Substances crafted by nature or by science, lying in wait. It's a reminder that knowledge isn't just power, it's protection. Because what you don't know could absolutely kill you. So next time you walk into a lab or even a hardware store, remember, danger doesn't always come with a skull and crossbones. Sometimes, it looks like a simple stone, a harmless spill, or a whisper of dust in the air. Thanks for sticking around through this wild ride through the deadliest materials you can technically touch. If your brain is melting from this info bomb, hit that like button before your fingertips disintegrate like dimethylmercury victims. And hey, drop a comment. What's the most terrifying material you've ever heard of? Because there are plenty more out there, and this rabbit hole goes way, way deeper. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, just because you can touch it, doesn't mean you should.